My name is Gareth Fry, and I'm an assistant professor of graphic design at Utah Valley University. The subject of my presentation is Evolving Graphic Design from Serving Industry to Fulfilling Fundamental Human Needs. Most of us would agree that graphic design has a long and celebrated history, during which it has accomplished many positive outcomes. The artifacts designers produce help to beautify, inform, guide, nourish, connect, and empower. However, there are also downsides to the immense output produced by the world's numberless army of designers. These dutiful creatives rarely intend to cause harm, but their unfettered output has, nonetheless, spurred significant negative outcomes. For example, and let me note that this is just a small sampling, designers create packaging and advertising for junk foods that contribute to obesity in children, a problem that, according to the CDC, has more than tripled since the 1970s. Designers create brands and promotions that fuel obsessions with status symbols, which in turn engenders consumerism, materialism, and conspicuous consumption. And designers create more than their fair share of plain old clutter that, as Kalalazan asserts, is partially to blame for the current epidemic of mental dysfunction. These outcomes and many others like them also belong to graphic design. But if harm is rarely the intent, why does problematic output keep appearing? The primary reasons are subtle but potent. The first of three factors is that, like all people, designers have the natural propensity to view the world in terms of us and them. This behavior develops from birth and occurs in order to help individuals ensure that their basic needs are being met. Social science writer David Berreby observes that humankind classification doesn't need to be taught. Without work, without awareness, we humans are experts at sorting people into kinds. We then use those groupings throughout life as the basis for determining how we treat others. The second factor is that designers today inherit a system that emerged in the early 20th century, which had the single goal of moving merchandise at the necessary rate and volume required by mass production. It's the typical client-centered system we're all intimately familiar with. It has a ready-made us and them structure in which our clients are our primary us, whereas our audiences are a distant, passive, and easy-to-forget them. The third factor is the great blind spot of our industry. It's simply that we are often oblivious, indifferent, or numb to the effects that our output has downstream on the masses who consume it. We typically laser focus on our clients' objectives, go to work, and just assume that our audiences can absorb the tsunami of visual ephemera we create. With these factors in mind, my aim is to nudge designers and educators to take stock of the psychology, history, and impact of graphic design, and to steer our field in a different direction. I hope to shake design from its hypnotic focus on solely serving industry and refocus it on the fulfillment of fundamental human needs. As outlined by Abraham Maslow, those needs include physiological needs such as food, water, and sleep, safety needs that include the need for security, stability, dependency, and protection, love and affection needs that include the need for relationships with partners, children, and friends, self-esteem needs that include the need for self-respect and respect from others, and self-actualization needs that are typified by the desire to become everything that one is capable of becoming. They are all focused on the body, heart, and mind of the immeasurably valuable individual, rather than on ambition and profits. Placing the fulfillment of these needs at the center of our work elicits a more considerate, altruistic, and empathetic perspective that can profoundly change our professional practices and output, and in turn alter the impact our work has on our audiences. Starting at square one, we might filter our involvement in any assignment by asking an exacting question that goes something like this: will my work support the fulfillment of fundamental human needs, or will it primarily contribute to some other more superficial and potentially harmful outcome? And depending on the answer, we then have the choice to either accept an assignment or to advocate for a different approach. In any case, I hope we will consider the call of contemporary French monk Mathieu Ricard, who argues that we must dare to assert that the economy cannot content itself with the voice of strict personal interest, but that it must also listen to the voice of caring and make it heard.